Arsenal 3, Atletico Bilbao nil. Arsenal beat Atletico Bilbao to become the Emirates Cup champions. Now, whether you want to put that as an achievement for Arsenal, whether you want to count that as a trophy, it's up to you. But let's get into it. Firstly, look, there was no doubt going into this game. There was some pressure in terms of Arsenal, okay? We've just played Villarreal and we played Tottenham, okay? And we lost both games. And not only did we lose, both games we saw the same issues. We saw the lack of urgency, the lack of forward passing, the lack of basically everything. Everything we lacked in both games. And, there was some, understandable annoyance and, what's the word? I want to use the right word. Worrying signs for us because it felt like we were carrying on last season's issues and problems onto this season, okay? And myself, even I was concerned. I was concerned from those last two games. So I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't nervous. I was nervous because we're going up against, like, the Premier League is next week, okay? And this is our last preseason game. And to be honest, I know people say the preseason game doesn't matter, which is right. The preseason games don't matter, but the thing is with the preseason game, it does give you some sort of indication of how you're going to play in the first few games. It might not indicate how you're going to end the season, but it will indicate how you are going to play in the first few games. And the issue with Arsenal is we have a very tough fixture. Our first 6 games is very tough opponents, okay? And this was a game where I think a lot of Arsenal fans, even myself included, I wanted to see some indication. I wanted to see how the team was going to line up ahead of Manchester United game. This game was a game where we didn't want to see much rotations. We wanted to see the team that would be used, the same team that would be playing at the against Old Trafford, against Manchester United. And I think we have seen what the first 11 will look like come next week against Manchester United. And for me, that was key. I think a lot of fans wanted to see the first 11 build some match rhythm, get Gyökeres out there, get the likes of Madueke, Martinelli, Saka, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, everyone up to match speed. And that's exactly what we saw today. We have to start with one man, Gyökeres. What a goal today. And Gyökeres, look, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Gyökeres. Regardless of him scoring today, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Gyökeres. He's our striker, okay? He's our striker, and there's going to be a lot of expectations on him to deliver. And for me, I do think he will deliver. And he started off today. What a player Gyökeres is. I mean, that header, by the way, brilliant header, absolute bullet header. The keeper had no chance. And one thing I've noticed about Gyökeres, maybe it's because I haven't watched enough for Sporting, is the fact that Gyökeres can link up the play really well. These type of flicks he can do. He looks like one of those players where he can get involved in the play. You got the likes of Haaland who, outside of the goal play, when it comes to, being able to link up play, that's not their strong suit. They do, it's not something they're bad at, but you wouldn't say it's the strongest suit compared to the likes of like an Isaac. Isaac, Jesus, those type of players that they can, not only can they score, they can link up. And you look at Gyökeres, and that was potentially one of the talking points about Gyökeres. Can, as well as him being able to finish, can he link up play? Can he be that extra man when Arsenal are struggling to be able to create chances? Can he link up play? Can he get the midfielders? Can he get the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard? Can he get those involved when he's not playing the best? And today we saw that. Today we saw him linking up play, and he surprised me. In terms of the goal, I mean, that is a proper striker's header, and he was a constant threat today. One thing about him, and I'm sure a lot of fans have seen it, how many times he's constantly running on the back of the defenders. He's always in line with the defender, ready to run. And that's something we lack with Arsenal. There's too much sideways passing because we don't have enough options going forward. You don't see Havertz being on the last, on the defender's shoulder about to run, whilst Gyökeres does that in abundance. Even if it doesn't work once, he will do it 2, 3, 4 times. And that's the thing when it comes to the Premier League. It's not going to work all the time, but are you going to keep on doing it? Because eventually it will work. And that's how we scored, not scored, but that's how we got a few of our chances today, because of the fact that we were running off the defenders. Gyökeres, Saka, Martinelli today running off the defender's shoulder, just peeling off and creating different type of angles. And that's something we lacked at Arsenal because we were way too predictable. Even the second goal, the pass from Martin Odegaard, it came because we had runners. We had both Saka and Martinelli both running towards goal. How often do you see that? Rarely. Normally we see Martinelli on the on the wing, and then you see Saka on the other wing, always touchline. And usually they always gain double teamed, and what happens is the attack usually always breaks down. But it was very refreshing to see something different. Now, one player I do want to talk about today is Martinelli. Now, Martinelli today, I think he had a different role today. Normally, when you've seen Martinelli, he's always on the touchline, and what happens is, you know, sometimes the attack does break down. But today, the left-hand side looked very different. You saw Martinelli come a lot on the inside today. Now, I don't know if it's a one-off game or if it's going to be a recurring thing, but you saw he looked better today. And I think it's because of the fact that he was able to occupy empty space. He was able to run in, and he looked really good today. Even that second goal was because of him. He made a brilliant pass, and that's, if you look at the old clips of Martinelli, you always see his best position, his best period came when he was playing more as an inside forward, when he's closer to goal. That's when you see the best of Martinelli, and he did that today. Now, like I said, I don't know if it's a one-off performance or whether we're going to see something like we're going to continue seeing this, because I do think when it comes to the touchline, I just don't think sometimes he can always beat his man. But when he's on the inside forward, because he has so much pace, he can go on the inside and he can go on the outside, so it gives the defenders more trouble. But there's one player we need to talk about, and that is Martin Zubimendi. What a performance by Martin Zubimendi. You can argue probably man of the match today. Martin Zubimendi is probably one of the most underrated signings this summer. Not because he's a bad player, mostly just because of the fact of how early this transfer was done. This transfer was done, and we were hearing about in January. Like, this transfer was done before the start of the season, before the start of the transfer window. That's how early we got Martin Zubimendi done. And of course, because of how early we got it done, a lot of fans just forgot it. But Martin Zubimendi, what a player. He's always, one thing about Martin Zubimendi is he's always wanting to pass the ball forward. Every time he gets the ball, his intention is clear. Is to pass the ball forward. And I know that might sound so simple, but none of our players in midfield do that. They're always trying to play it out wide. Whilst him is always pass forward, and he just creates so much more open space. He just gives the team that level of unpredictability which we don't have, because we're way too predictable. And not only can he pass and not only can he dribble, but he's such a good reader of the game. There were so many times where he was just able to intercept the ball. And he's not even that big, like tall or even wide. Like, this guy he's, in terms of winning back the ball, he's so good at intercepting, and it is just a credit to how smart he is as a player. Such an intelligent player. And when he got that last penalty, not sure if you guys watched the penalty, you knew it was going to be a goal. But what a performance by Martin Zubimendi. He almost got an assist as well. If you watched, I think it was the 90th minute, where he just gave a brilliant over the top to Saka, and unfortunately Saka couldn't finish, but that goal, that pass deserved an assist of how nice it was. But what a performance. The thing is, I'm mixed between, were we that good or was Atletico Bilbao a bit poor? So I don't know, maybe it's a mixture of both, but ultimately it breeds confidence. Okay, we lost our back-to-back preseason game. We needed a win. We needed to build some momentum. Man United are definitely going to have some momentum. I know they didn't win today, but they got Benjamin Sesko, they got Cunha, and they got Mbeumo. They have a dangerous front three, and they're going to be out for a first game out of the season at Old Trafford. Manchester United fans are going to be up for it. Manchester United players are going to be up for it. And we needed something. We needed a win. We needed some type of boost. And I think this win does give it. I do think this win does give it. But the most important thing is we need to keep our players fit. Calafiori, he needs to stay fit. Top player. Timber, Ben White needs to stay fit. Saliba, Gabriel needs to stay fit. Gabriel came back today. Looked like he was never missing. What a player, Gabriel. Saliba, I don't need to say the rest. But yeah, this was a very good win and a nice little confidence boost leading up to the Manchester United game. But yeah, guys, that's the end of today's video. Let me know what you think. Has Gyökeres finally arrived? Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.